YouTube, what the crap is going on? HeirofCarthage here, coming to you from the Kanto Plains in the beautiful land of Shogun 2. My opponent, Dogoa-san, is going to start there in the red area, and I'm going to start in the yellow area. This is a relatively flat map with a couple of key buildings in the center, and for this map, I have chosen a rush build. There's a lot of focus right now on, modular armies and matchlocks and backing them up with spears and all kinds of stuff, and that's great. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. But it's not really the way I like to play. I am going to teach you a little bit about it if I get a chance, but again, I'd suggest you check out other casts if you're interested in using that type of army. For my army, it's pretty simple rush build. And I really hate pausing the battles, but I kind of need to because this thing, well, no, it doesn't take place that quick. It is quick, though. And whether I win or lose, you'll see, but rushes are always quick, so never expect it to be a drawn-out occasion. I've got an engagement portion of my army, which is right here. It's 2 Nagi attendants and 2 Nodachi samurais. One of them has like a veteran upgrade and the other doesn't. I got hit with the Fugu Cook too, and I'm playing World Weary against my opponent, just so you know. So the engagement portion of my army is right here in the center. This is the part of my army that I want to engage the enemy and to absorb their charge, because my Nodachis have a good charge. The killing part of my army, the rush army, is a little bit further out, not in the center. And that's my Katana Samurai, which have better stats. They have 18 attack even after he Fugu cooked them. So they're going to be doing well. I've got a sword attendant to just kind of help these guys. And then I've also got some Wako Raiders hidden in these woods for a flanking charge. So that's the killing part of my army. And the killing part of my army is topped off right here by Patchy's Pain Train, backed by popular demand. You can see the stats on these guys are alarming. 29 attack, 12 defense, 25 charge, 14 morale. Those guys are brutal. Plus they've got 7 armor. So very tough cavalry unit. And then I have a defensive part of a rush. You'd be like, Air, what the heck is a defensive part of a rush? Well, I've got to have a few spears for different reasons. So I've got a Nagi Samurai. And then on the other flank, I've got another Nagi Samurai, and then I've got another Nagi attendant behind Patchy. And there's some reasons for this. So let's take a look at my opponent's army. I'll take it out slow-mo in just a second. But again, this all goes down pretty quick like a rush should. I'm walking forward because I'm not in any hurry. There's no key building here that my opponent can capture that's really going to give him a big advantage. I think we have like a farmhouse and an archery dojo. I don't need the archery dojo, and I certainly don't need the farmhouse. He's got a light cav doing some scouting. This is actually a really good move. A lot more players are using light cav these days, and light cav pays dividends if used correctly. My opponent here isn't using it to really attack me. He's just waiting on a target of opportunity. Maybe I had a bow out of line or I had a bow cav. He's just searching. He's also searching for hidden units, which is why I walked this Wako Raider way back out here. Because light cav have excellent scouting capabilities, and here you can see how far away he discovered my Katana cav from. I probably should have just charged him with the Katana cav right here. I could have easily killed him, but he turned and ran, and so I didn't follow him, and I decided to just take my Katana cav out of hiding and put him over by my army. I should have just charged him, though. My Katana cav would have absolutely flattened this light cav with minimal casualties. Let's take a look at the rest of his armies. He's brought bows, which I haven't seen a lot of recently. A lot of people have given up on bows. I think that's a mistake. I see a lot of tournament play where they don't use many bows. They prefer a bow general. That's fine. If you're a player with great micro, that works. If you're a player like me who has less micro, you're probably going to sport the tactic of the leadership general and actually bringing bows. But in any case, I haven't seen a lot of bows. They can be very useful. Now, in this case, I brought a rush army. Not going to be so useful. But had I brought an army with a couple of matchlocks backed up by nothing but melee troops, which a lot of people do, and just a bow general, these guys right here can handle a bow general. There's a lot of them. And they can also pick away at the matchlocks. It would take the bow general quite a while to kill all of these bow units. Now, I haven't seen a bow general in action in a while, but since they have so few men, it would take them a little while to clean up one of these guys. And even if it had superior range, it would be hard for that bow general to stay out of range if this guy wanted to get him there. Again, though, how good the player is makes a difference there. He's backed them up with some matchlock warrior monks. And then he's got a big long line of Katana Samurai here. I want to say there's 6 of them, looks like, or yeah, no, just 5. He's backed them up with some Nagi warrior monks there. Let's see, so yeah, 5 Katana Samurai, 2 Nagi warrior monks, Yari Ashigaru. His cavalry contingent looks small, but it's actually quite powerful. 2 light cav, 2 great guard. The Great Guard are obviously the killing power, and the Light Cav are great for just skirmishing around with other cav. And look, he's discovered my Walker Raider, so at this point, the gig is up. I'm just going to start moving on his flank. If he doesn't know that I'm rushing him by this point, then it's too late. So let's push play, and I'm going to just kind of play this from an above view and let you see how the battle plays out. And then I'm going to actually re-record and come back and show you some of the key things that happened in the battle and how they affected the battle. But I'll just kind of hold up here so that you can see the overhead view and understand how the battle played out and how quickly it played out. And then I'll come back and show you some of the things. So there's 3 lessons I want to teach you here. The things I did right, the things I did wrong, and where I just plain got lucky. Luck is a factor in this game sometimes. Now, the better players get as they oppose you, the less likely you are to get in lucky situations. But sometimes you're lucky even when you're playing against a good player. Sometimes things just happen the way you want. I will show you right here, so you can see that I soaked up his matchlock volley successfully. He charges my Katana Cav from behind. I wasn't paying attention. But look, even without a charge bonus, so he hits my Katana Cav, kills 11, 12, 13, 14 of them on the charge, and then watch what happens to this Light Cav. All of a sudden, they're going to go bye-bye. So thinking this Light Cav could really have much of an effect on my Katana Cav was a mistake. That's why I said earlier I should have just charged him. So look at the overhead cam here. You'll notice that my engagement force did its purpose. I even pulled back and saved some of my Nagi attendants. But look what happened. I left this gap here in the center. Didn't expect that to happen, and I should have left this Nagi attendant up front. Now Patchy is under attack from a Katana Samurai and being shot at by a Matchlock Warrior Monk. So here's where this lesson of luck comes in. By luck, Patchy does not get killed by the Matchlock Warrior Monk, and somehow, while being shot by a Matchlock Warrior Monk, Patchy manages to fend off a Katana Samurai. Pretty impressive, all things considered. How he's alive is a little bit beyond me. I'm guessing that these Katana Samurai actually suffered a penalty from being shot in the back by their own men. You have to be careful of that. And of course, since Patchy was a high morale unit, he was able to stay. So look, I pushed this Nagi attendant through to hold down the Matchlock Warrior Monks, and I'm moving another Nagi attendant forward to guard Patchy from any more missile fire and cav attacks. Here's the overhead view, so you can see the action going on here in the melee fight. In the cav fight, all I did was just keep my Yari Cav right next to my defensive units, which was one of my Nagi. And Naginata Samurai will make short work of Great Guard under any circumstance. And my Yari Cav aren't too far off base from his Great Guard anyway. Their morale was lower and their attack's a little lower, but overall my Yari Cav had 13 attack and almost the same charges as Great Guard. So what my Yari Cav lack in stats there, they make up for in the cost differential. So he tries to get a rear charge in, and it was really just ineffective. My Katana Samurai are doing very well here against these overwhelming odds. Here he takes a shot at the back lines, trying to charge me from behind, intercept him with the Nagi Samurai. Once again, that's why I bring them. And you'll notice that I kept them towards the back of my formation this whole time to try and keep the enemy player from being able to effectively hammer and anvil strike me. So at this point you can see the battle's kind of winding down. This is his last pocket of resistance here. Patchy's Pain Train was over here chewing on the enemy general and killed him actually, I believe. And now Patchy's Pain Train is going to move on for a nice recharge. Let me show you up close because this is brutally fun. This is what happens when you get charged by a heavy cav from behind. You'll see that they just plowed right on through and sent several men flying. Katana Cav is just absolutely brutal when it charges you from behind. So anyway, there you go. You can see that that wrapped up pretty nicely there. I'm going to go ahead and replay this one more time and show you a few key things that took place there. Alright, here we are back in the replay, and I'm going to slow it down and show you a few key things, but let me talk about rushing real quick while this is going forward. So obviously good players will know some tactics to beat down a rush. What do you want to do if you're the player rushing? Well, you just want to rush, 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 because a good player knows that for every second and time he can buy himself, he's going to get arrows fired, matchlocks fired, or disrupt your forces. Now, if you're rushing someone who's using a modular army, which is the armies where they'll have like a matchlock standing right in front of a spear unit, and they'll have like 3 groups of these guys, the thing that they're going to do if you rush them is they're going to split up into 3 or 4 different directions. So if you're the one rushing and they do that, you do not want to follow them in all directions. You want to leave 1 or 2 units, just enough to kind of threaten them into having to pay attention to it, and then rush your guys towards just one side of it. The last thing you want to do is get outflanked by a modular army. And now what I just told you there as far as advice is easier said than done, because that's the kind of thing that a modular army excels at. So just know that if you go rush towards one, it's going to be difficult, depending on how well the player using it can handle it. So let's watch these different scenarios here. You can see I'm walking my army into position. Don't want to get them tired. I'm using Patchy, of course, though, and he's got the stamina thing, so he'll keep my guys from getting worn out too quickly. Let's go back into play, and we'll wait for just a second. Yeah, I'm still moving into position here. He moves his bow warrior monks back, and his bow samurai. That was smart, because obviously he doesn't want to leave them there in a rush. He pulls them back, goes ahead, starts firing. Problem is, he leaves them on fire at will. This is why my Nagi attendants are up front. If you're not smart enough to take your bows out of fire at will, you're going to waste your shots. He should be shooting at my Nodachi samurai. Definitely should be shooting at my Nodachi samurai. So here goes. I commence my rush, and notice what I do here. I move this Nagi attendant just slightly ahead of the other one. This one was already a little more damaged, so I want this one to take the matchlock volley. My opponent turns on his extended range, and sure enough, they take the matchlock volley from long range, which means the matchlock monk is less accurate. And these guys still have 43 men left, even after all the bow shots and a matchlock monk volley. And then these guys over here are relatively untouched. So that part of my rush goes off without a hitch. You can see my opponent is still firing at my Nagi attendants. Should be firing at my Nodachi samurai. Those things are easy kills for bows. So let's watch as this unfolds here, and I'll kind of tell you how the engagement part of the battle goes here for me. So this is the part where it's critical for me to lock down the enemy troops and get them locked into a melee with minimal losses to myself. So here you go. Patchy's wheeling up to support my troops. He's a little bit close to the line, though. That's going to be a mistake on my part. You can see I'm splitting my two Nodachis to stop the enemy charge, and I'm going to do that quite successfully on this side. I'm going to block up two Nodachis with one of mine, and over here I'm going to block up almost three Nodachis with mine. I'm trying to block all three with mine. But again, look at this suicidally stupid mistake that I make here. I didn't realize that I was going to end up splitting this big of a gap, and that leaves his matchlock monks facing down my general, who's just now headed in to stand and fight. And here, like I said, I didn't quite stop that katana charge, so Patchy's already getting engaged. This Nagi attendant right here should have stayed in front of Patchy to prevent this from happening, and then this plan right here would have gone off perfectly without a hitch. That means that these monks wouldn't have had a clear line of sight at Patchy, and they could have stopped that katana samurai charge, so that his matchlocks here effectively wouldn't be able to do anything. Now check out how his guys are overlapping mine here initially. That's what I want. That may seem stupid, but that's what I want. You might, you're totally outflanked. That's good though, because if I outflanked him, his matchlocks right here would be picking my guys off severely from the flanks. So notice that when I hit him back, I don't hit him on these inside flanks. That gives his matchlock monk no shot. I've already given him a pretty shot at my general. At least I'm doing a good job of not giving him a shot at my infantry. So that puts his matchlock monks in a less useful position. I'm going to do a rear charge with infantry. Everybody expects rear charges from cavalry. They're not near as quick to react to intercept a rear charge from infantry, which they should be. These guys have a brutal charge and a lot of attack, and when they hit these guys in the rear, it's going to be devastating. So again, my Wako Raider are going to be used for rear charge. You'll also notice that I focused all my cavalry on this flank. That's to draw all his cavalry to that flank to make sure that this Wako Raider charge is unopposed. My opponent should have left the light cavalry over here, and he could have intercepted the charge from these Wako Raiders and bought his guy time. You can see here my Katana Cav now is going to thread around the rear to go do what it does best. Look at all these soft targets back here just begging to be killed and to have the honor of being killed by Patchy's Pain Train. So I told you my engagement plan worked right. My rear charge and my killing force is doing their job the way I expected. So my Katana Samurai and my Patchy's Pain Train now are delivering the killing blows to the enemy. And my engagement kept my main killing forces from taking a charge, so they ought to be in good shape. The luck piece of this battle was Patchy. The fact that he's still alive right here is absolutely unbelievable, but he is. So there you go. I guess he's a legend, a lucky legend in this case. I kept my Yari Cav close to my defensive unit, and look, this plan goes off again without a hitch. He feels rushed because I rushed him, so he makes the mistake of charging into my spears. And at this point, like I said, Patchy's Pain Train avoids easily these spears who are chasing him and is going to continue to run around and hit all these soft targets back here with looks like 31 attack now because he's within the influence of my general's stand and fight. So yeah, 31 attack, 10 melee defense, 25 charge. His defense is only down because of the war cry. You can see that Patchy's Pain Train is just going to start racking up kills at an alarming rate. They're up to 70 something, and it's going fast even in slow motion. So you can see here that my plan worked perfectly on this flank. I just absolutely crushed the right flank of my enemy, and my rear charge there, his monks dropped a war cry, attempting to slow me down, but it was just too late. His guys were absolutely crushed. And the attack on his Katana Samurai really wasn't bad. Look, these guys have 17 attack. Those had 14. Let's see if I can find some more of his Katana Samurai and check their attack. 17 attack there. So his attack really wasn't bad. But in any case, you can see now that Patchy's Pain Train's into his general, all of his bows. His matchlock unit is tied down as well with these Nagi attendants. He should have tried to run this matchlock away, get it away from all this fighting. And then watch Patchy here as he fights off a light cav with only 7 men. Patchy's unit here steps up to the challenge. You can see Patchy himself here slashing down some light cavalrymen. And making this, I want to get you some close-ups of this part because you know how the battle unfolds already from the top view. So what went right for me and what went wrong? I think that my plan was very well suited to the type of army that my opponent brought here. Again, had my opponent brought a modular army, this would have been trickier. If I ever get the opportunity to try and rush against a modular army, I'll show you how that works. But if your opponent does what my opponent did, which is, okay, I'm going to stand here, get my shots, and I think I can fight back, that's what you want when you're a rush build. And you got to make sure that your build is going to do better than his. And you're putting the pressure on them by rushing forward so quickly. So yeah, you can just kind of watch it finishing up here. Eventually I decided to pull Patchy's Pain Train out of this fight and to go hit these bows over here, but he was still getting a significant number of kills even in that fight. You can see that the enemy avatar is close to dying. That was actually him going down right there. I'm not sure what killed him, but it looks like my cavalrymen and he died at the same time. Brutal trade-off. And here they come over into these bow warrior monks, and you can see there's already a head rolling on the ground. That's a good way to know that Patchy's Pain Train is nearby. And I'll get you a slow motion of the rear charge that they do here at the end. I think that'll be a nice ending piece. We'll do that from the perspective of my own men, which is funny because Patchy's Pain Train charges with such astonishing force that I think they plow right through my own men too. You can see lots of beheading going on here. In any case, I think we're about ready for this final charge. This is the kind of thing that swordsmen have nightmares over, which is being charged from behind by a katana cavalry unit. Let's see if I can get a good zoom in on it. Here we go. Like my guys with swords all raised in the air, ready for some sweet beheading action. Yeah, you can see my guys look just absolutely plowed right through the enemy lines behind them and all the way through my own line. And I think there was a Nagi monk in there too. Yeah, there was. You saw one of them go flying past the camera. So yeah, look at him going routing. In any case, hope you all enjoyed this battle and a little bit of tips on rushing. Obviously, rushing is probably one of my favorite ways to play the game. However, it can be quickly countered by someone who knows what they're doing. I'll keep trying to bring you videos as I get the opportunity. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to be back with some Atomo campaign tomorrow. So HeirofCarthage signing off from now. And I will see you back on Shogun 2 and other Total War games soon. And before I go, also do not forget the Take a Stab at Patchy. I was going to do it this week, but I have to go out of town at the end of the week. So I will do an announcement on that for next week. I want to make sure I get plenty of time in with you all, and this week's just going to be too busy. So let's do it next week. And we're going to start off on Rome Total War. And we'll start on Tuesday night. I'll make an official video announcement, but I'll go ahead and tell you now. So we're going to start on Tuesday night, my time. Let's go take a look at the statistics. So Tuesday, my time, next week. Let me look at the date just to confirm that with you all. So that would be a date of Tuesday, March 26th, and we will say 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, which is GMT -5. For those of you in Europe, and some of you in Europe might be saying, Air, that's ridiculous, we can't play you at that time because it's like in the middle of the morning for us. And when I say morning, I mean the wee hours of the morning. I know. So what I'm going to do for my European fans is I will show up on Saturday the 23rd to continue playing some more games. Now here's how you're going to get into the game. The day of Take a Stab at Patchy, you will go to my channel. I will make a post on my channel in the feed and in the comments that says what my name is going to be online, because in Rome Total War you can make your own name, of course. I'm going to tell you what my name is going to be, what my game name is going to be, and then what the password is. Please only try and get into the game once, as I'm sure that people are going to want to play me. And of course the deal is, if you win, you get to kill my general in a hilarious manner in a second battle where I only bring a general's unit. You know, you can slay him, and that's the whole Take a Stab at Patchy idea. If you lose, sorry, you know, that means Patchy stabbed you. But I'm sure that I will get beaten a fair few times, because obviously I got a ton of fans, and I'm sure that a lot of you are much better at this game than me. In any case, here's the statistics. You can see Patchy's Pain Train living up to their name. And of course this Waka Raiders with that rear charge there absolutely brutalizing the enemy. And then my Katana Samurai getting the next best kill. So look at it. Did I not tell you that my killing part of the army was these 4 units? And sure enough, look, they're the ones that racked up the kills. So in this case, my plan went off very well. You can see my Nodachis here got hammered on pretty bad, but managed to kill a few of the enemy while blunting their charge and getting them engaged. Again, I do not know how Patchy survived this, and losing your general in a rush is definitely not a good thing, but he did survive somehow. And I hope you all enjoyed this. I'll be back, like I said, with more videos soon. Expect a Tomo campaign tomorrow. Take a Stab at Patchy is going to be starting next week. Tell me what else you'd like to see. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.